At number 10 we have Taming a Blackened Man. This manhwa is about Erin, a sweet young female lead who get constantly abused by her husband and his mistress inside the house that she owned. But she has no other choice but to bear everything because she thought that she loved the man that she married. But when the time event just keep on repeating again and again, she got tired of it and started to fight back for her own good. But when she turned her back into her husband, she got stabbed and died in vain. Remembering the time when she first caught the attention of the man she liked with the power of holiness that she possesses, she also remembered the first time that her husband brought an unknown girl into their house asking her to heal the girl with a worried eyes, and with that memories, she thought that she really did messed up her lifetime. But when she opened her eyes, the time has turned back into the time where her father is still alive, and this is also the time before she meet her awful husband, and with that memory, she thought that maybe not getting involved with them is the best way to save and change her life. But fate has other plan and just keep on making both them be part of each other's live. And with that flow of fate, she thought that maybe getting a revenge is much more fun and satisfying knowing on what these people did to her and her family. This manhwa is by far one of the best manhwa that I read, and the fact that she has power that the royal family and the kingdom protect is valid reason for you guys to read this. At number 9 we have To My Husband's Mistress. This manhwa is about Letica, the daughter of the Violet family who went bankrupt when his husband's business goes down and can't get back the investment of their family. And in order to save the honor and life of their family, Letica's father took his own life just to save his daughter's husband who turned out to be someone who would cheat to Letica in the near future. Letica already knew that his husband has been seeing someone other than her. But when her husband asked her to have a divorce in order for him to marry his mistress, she bought up the sacrifice that her father gave just for them to be saved. And to make matter worse, her in-laws also want her to divorce her husband and leave the house immediately, saying that she has no right to be sad because she failed to be a good wife when she can't birth to a son that looked like his husband. This made her furious knowing that the reason why she can't give birth to a child is because of his husband who pushed her to the stair. This manhwa is so amazing, it really gives you the motion that the author wanted to give for the readers. Also the suffering of Letica really hits different. But when she started to meet this other guy, everything started to go smoothly like a jelly. At number 8 we have As My Husband Said I Bought in a Lover. This manhwa is about Louise, a commoner who suddenly got up in society after she married a nobleman Layard, thinking that she's one of the most lucky girl in the empire to have a really handsome and caring partner. But these thoughts didn't last her when her husband brought a maid from his 7 months travel in the empire. And with the flawless story that her husband made for her to believe that the maid is someone who need a help from people after all the things that happens to her. Louise on the other hand believed everything that her husband said, thinking that the new maid and her story is almost the same. But when she realized that her story is almost the same with the new maid's story, she suddenly thought that her husband might be planning on replacing her, and when told her husband about all the things that she knew, her husband told her to just find someone who could be her lover when the night gets cold. With a shocked and angry expression, she decided to find a lover to the most famous house that sells a lover. This manhwa is also a top-tier manhwa. We get to see a really strong woman who climbed her status and superiority by just being herself and using the things that she knew by being a commoner. At number 7 we have Lend Me Your Lips. This manhwa is about Yeon-eun, a sweet person who has a really soft aura around her, and when Yeon gets a text message from her boyfriend with the details about a hotel room and a time, she was overjoyed. But it's too early to celebrate because a few minutes later, he sends her another message saying that the first one was for his team's after-party event. Although slightly disappointed, she decides she should surprise him at the hotel nonetheless. Unfortunately, when she gets there, she witnesses her boyfriend with another woman walking right toward her. In a moment of panic, Yeon grabs the man in front of her and steals his lips to keep herself from being caught by her boyfriend. As it turns out, she just kissed the fiancé of the woman her boyfriend was having an affair with. Now suddenly, Yeon finds herself caught up in a whirlwind of events full of romance and revenge. This manhwa is a really good one. It really gives that really theme where she changes everything just to get that revenge on point. At number 6 we have Change of Season. This manhwa is about Gyu Young, an ordinary office worker who's really scared to their team leader. And while she's in her workplace, she tends to do overnight everything her boyfriend asks her to have some time and take her on a date. She also gets bullied in her workplace because of the fact that their team leader only remembers her name and forgets everyone's name. And then one day, after a tiring day of working overtime, she decided to surprise her boyfriend by bringing him a cake for their supposedly date that night. But before she goes to her boyfriend, she happens to bump in her friend who has a meeting with someone that she's been talking to. This made her excited for her, knowing that her friend has someone to be with after years. But when she opened the door of her boyfriend's apartment, she saw her friend and boyfriend having their time and not minding her on the side of the side. This made her cry to the point of planning a revenge plan on them, and that's where their team leader Yoon Ji-yeon started to be part of her daily, because her team leader personally asked her to use him to get revenge on the people who wronged her. This manhwa is actually good and has a plot that just captivate me, but I kinda find it too basic, so I am hoping for a turnout event in this manhwa, and I kinda seeing this knowing that the team leader might be the person behind Gyu Young and his boyfriend fight. At number 5 we have While You're in Love. This manhwa is about Helena, a person who only known as the Duchess of the Thordal and not as someone who authority and power over the name of Thorbal. She's a commoner who rose up to nobility after her marriage to the Duke of Thorbal. But this didn't change her status on the mind of other noble who shows her disrespect and unpleasant stare. Although Helena don't really care about them, she still find it really hard to believe how her husband never shows affection towards her. It like Helena is just a Frey hiding behind its hunter to protect her being. But is exactly what Helena wanted in the first place. But when the time passed were her heart into the Duke of Thordal, a new character was introduced, and that's the same person that Helena read before she transmigrant into this world of novel. This manhwa is one of the best manhwa that I've read, and the fact that the male lead is a person who also likes Helena but don't know how to express his feelings is something you all should look up. And because of little misunderstanding these couple could broke up anytime soon. At number 4 we have 10 Ways to Get Dumped by a Tyrant. This manhwa is about Scarlet, a person who got transmigrated to the world of novel where she got the character of the villainous Scarlet Armin. A few things before her story start, she knows some crystal clear things that she remembered reading this novel. First thing is she just a minor character and destined to die like so many other antagonists in the novel on the market. She also know that she has fiancé who's known for being a tyrant into their kingdom, and the last thing that she knows, is that she transmigrated into the world of novel even before the starts. So when Scarlet realized that her only chance to escape death is to get out of her betrothal and get rich on her own. But how does Scarlet plan to break off an engagement with a tyrant, and with a plan on her mind? Scarlet started to does everything that she can show as unfit for marriage, from pouring wine all over her dress to singing an off-key love song to his fiancé's face. Little does she know that the tyrant has learned what she is up to and is more endeared than before. This manhwa is really good when Scarlet from the modern world started to take over her body. Cause the previous started as just trash that bullies the female lead that cause her death, and with the new Scarlet, everything changed from her husband to the people around her. At number 3 we have another love story. This manhwa is about Son-ah, a person who got cheated on by his boyfriend who told her that he was sick, and Son as a caring girlfriend, she bought him medicine and food to eat on his unit after several months of no contact from him. But to her shock, she saw a girl wear only an underwear into his boyfriend condo. As she feels dizzy on what she saw, she still managed to get out of that place and drink in a bar where she met a guy who takes care of him and listened to her story where she says that she actually don't feel anything to her boyfriend, but the cheating moment did really hurt her feelings. Little did Son know that the guy who she vent out her emotion is the new employee to their company where she handles. But both of them seems to find it really irrational to tell on the other person the history where they meet first. This manhwa is quite good and the male lead is like a walking green flag. The only thing that bothers me is the art style. Maybe because it's not my type of art style that I usually read, but overall the manhwa is really good. At number 2 we have Really Truly Getting a Divorced. This manhwa is about Gobe, a person who's been in a 3-year relationship to his longtime boyfriend who suddenly broke up with her after she gave him a really expensive watch. After that broke up, she realized that this guy never really cared about her or any of their anniversary. He even never gave her gift to her birthday. So the day after they broke up, she tried selling the only expensive item that her ex-boyfriend gifted her, which is a luxury bag. But when she goes to the store and tried selling it, the store manager says that the bag is fake and can't be bought by their store. And that newsmaker thin line of patient burst into an action where she go up front to her ex-boyfriend and give him a mothering nags and slaps. But this scene got caught up by the New Weather TV who captured the scene where she beat up her ex-boyfriend, and when the day comes, she saw how a lot of people laughing at her behavior and action of their breakup. And his ex-boyfriend comment on the video make it even more, making her look like she begging him to come back into her. This manhwa is really fun and funny to read knowing that most of the story and plot of this story has that funny side all the time. At number 1 we have Please Don't Come to the Villainous Stationery Store. This manhwa is about Meldonique, our beautiful female lead who is known as the Duke's daughter. She's a person known as a businesswoman who fails every business that she started, being stuck with a cursed bloodline. The people around her think that she's the unlucky one, and she's jealous to her stepsister Sharia, who is known as a calm and king lady looking like a flower in a battle of chaos. Thought her husband shamelessly denied that he is having an affair with Sharia. Meldonique still stands still and plan on getting away into that household and cutting ties with her family. But when the Duke know the truth of what Meldonique have been planning, he did not agree with Mel and proceed to make her suffer and treat her like a fool. This manhwa has a lot of really good scene where you'll feel a sudden burst of emotion to the point that you wanted to take the person out of your phone just so you cloud slap him.